guys ready?
Alright, anime fans, buckle up. Today's battle pits two titans against each other, Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. That's right, it's time to settle the age-old question, which rules supreme?
Alex, don't you think that's a little dramatic?
Dramatic? Bimbo, my friend, this is a duel for the ages. We're talking clashing blades, swirling curses, and enough chainsaw action to give you wood to burn for your arguments, of course.
Oh, of course. So, how are we doing this grand showdown?
We're gonna dissect these bad boys like they're cursed spirits waiting to be exercised. 5 categories, 5 rounds, and 1 epic smackdown. Standout characters, animations that'll blow your socks off, fight scenes so brutal they'll make even Sukuna sweat, unforgettable villains, and of course, the main guy who holds it all together.
Now that's the kind of talk I understand. Time to unleash our inner critics and declare a champion! Let's go!
Chainsaw Man is an incredible anime, absolutely worth your time. There's only 12 episodes out right now, so it's a quick watch, but in that short runtime, it's filled with fun action, gut-wrenching storytelling, and funny jokes. Be warned, Chainsaw Man is a dark and graphic story with lots of elements of abuse, but if you're comfortable with it, you must take a dive into this show. Jujutsu Kaisen is a rather generic anime. Yuji is Naruto, Gojo is Kakashi, Megami is Sasuke, Nobara is Sakura, albeit a much better version. The plot is also quite watered down, where it simply meanders from villain to villain. Yes, there's a vague end goal of Sukuna's fingers, but the characters largely happen upon the fingers. There's not a lot of active movement in the plot. Overall, Jujutsu Kaisen could be much more streamlined and original. Meanwhile, in Chainsaw Man, while they have the goal of the Gun Devil, the main goal is Denji's happiness that you see him work towards and evolving with. The characters are all quite unique and would take some shoving to fit into generic anime roles. Denji is indeed like Naruto in that he's naive and a little annoying, but he's also a lot darker than Naruto. I couldn't see Naruto doing what Denji does. Power, the girl of the group, I think it's complicated, is nothing like Sakura. Sakura's sweet and feminine, though a little hot-headed. Power is based on Eric Cartman from South Park. She's crass with a gold heart deep down, I think. She's a ruthless demon who only wants to kill until she meets her cat, Meowie, and discovers that she's able to find love for a creature. Her relationship with Denji is also strained at first, but they bond and forge an almost sibling-like relationship. Aki, of course, has the dark vibe of Sasuke, and both are motivated by revenge, but Aki is much more mature. Sasuke has this element of rage and angst about him, and while Aki has his darker moments, he's much more calm. He cares for his mentor and other close friends deeply, getting attached easily. He's the most normal and grounded of the main trio, in my opinion.
It only makes sense if we start with our main character, Itadori Yuji. The guy with a cursed cloud hanging over him after his friends proved to be too nosy for their own good.
Nosy neighbors.
I love how he sees the potential for good even in the most grotesque curses. He fights not just to exercise them but to understand them. Yeah, I know saying this about a bunch of curses and demon-like creatures sounds weird, but Yuji makes it look cute and selfless. But don't mistake his kindness for weakness. I think he could one day defeat Sukuna. You wanna bet? Gojo Satoru, the blindfolded enigma, the Jujutsu world's rockstar with an IQ that could warp reality. His playful arrogance and reverse psychology tactics might be incredibly annoying, but he is strong and his loyalty shines through. Megumi Fushiguro, who is a master of Shikigami. He has a soft spot for strays. His drag wit and loyalty are as sharp as his blades. He is our quiet hero who is the one that's always got your back, even when he doesn't say it. And Nobara Kugisaki, the queen of sass with nails sharper than Sukuna's tongue. Forget damsel in distress, this girl has got more attitude than Gojo's blindfold and the brains to back it up. Sure, she might not have Yuji's brute force or Megumi's shadows, but Nobara has got strategic genius that could make Gojo himself sweat. She's got an unwavering belief in herself that's just infectious. She's the reminder that you do not need traditional power to be a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, there's Chainsaw Man. So in Chainsaw Man, let's begin with the chainsaw wielding crybaby.
見つけたぜ俺の本気
Driven by selfish desires and a desperate need for a
胸だ
boobs. His childish innocence and crazy behavior make him unpredictable, which, while it helped him beat a number of devils, could be his undoing. He's a kid, yeah, but so is Itadori Yuji. But you don't see him risking his life over his obsession with women. And you don't see him kicking men in the nuts. Power, the only female of the main trio, the blood fiend embodiment of violence and chaos. A walking chain of disasters like Denji, but without the source. Chainsaws, you see what I did there? Couple of episodes in and she's already tried to kill Denji. Yeah, definitely a symbol of loyalty.
Cool.
Aki, the stoic devil hunter with a cliche air of mystery and bad boyness. You know, the typical as a dark past in the game for something revengey, kinda like every single Wattpad bad boy. It gives the vibe of an older brother who always has to babysit the crazy younger siblings, cause the entire public safety force is a bunch of crybabies dealing with emotional childhood baggage. Take Kobeni for example. I would have thrown her out of a 7-story building. Then there is Makima, the public safety devil hunter, as alluring as she is dangerous, manipulative, and very secretive. I'm not sure anyone knows her motives or just how far she can go to achieve them. So much so she's manipulating a 16-year-old to risk his life so he could sleep with her. Can we get child services in here, please?
Both of these animes are made by MAPPA, which is notorious for cutting corners and overworking its employees. Both Chainsaw Man and JJK have visual flaws, as well as their own excellent visuals with mixes of CGI. Chainsaw Man has its unique color schemes and monster character designs, but so does Jujutsu Kaisen, so I believe we should concede this point.
Yeah, so I agree with Alex on the aesthetics being kind of the same. However, I still think Jujutsu Kaisen adds way better fluid animation, bold colors, and intricate character designs to create a visually stunning and immersive experience. The aesthetics is a classic beauty with youthful charm and understated elegance. Traditional Japanese city add a touch of serenity to the supernatural clashes. Then there are the good looks of the characters, their bodies, hair, charisma, and I mean Nanami, Gojo, Megumi, it's pretty good. For Chainsaw Man, I'd say it's dynamic, experimental, featuring smash, distortions, and raw energy. Perfect for Denji's chainsaw mayhem amidst Shinjuku's gritty backstreet and Yokohama's industrial chaos. As for looks, we could give it to Aki and Makima. Ultimately, the choice is yours: serene landscapes and classic beauty, or chaotic urban sprawls and unconventional allure. The power system in Jujutsu Kaisen is a game changer. In this world, they've got something called curse energy. It's generated from people's negative emotion like fear and anger. Sorcerers use it to fight these spirit called curses, and sorcerers refine it through some intense training. They've even got this grading system for how well they handle it from grade 1 to grade 4. Now the cool part, curse techniques. Each sorcerer has got their own unique way of using this energy. It could be for attack, defense, or some crazy binding stuff. And get this, they can amp it up even more by creating these areas called domains.
領域展開
It's like their secret power zone, and these curses they are fighting are born from super strong negative emotions, and they come in all sorts of forms. Some are seriously powerful and give even the top sorcerers a run for their money. Episode 41 blew minds when Sukuna had a face-off with Mahoraga during the retro Megumi tried to pull on Shigemo. It was off the charts epic. Sukuna's swagger was on another level. Battling Mahoraga felt like a warm-up exercise for him. He even found time for a drink and popcorn. Meanwhile, poor Shigemo stood no chance. The showdown went wild, shredding Shibuya to bits, wrecking buildings, and well, more casualties than you could count. In this world of curses and sorcery, the fight scenes aren't just about who throws the strongest punch. They are a reflection of the character's journey, their strengths, their weaknesses, and the bonds that tie them together. Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't just deliver captivating fight sequences. It creates a symphony of action, emotions, and power that captivates audiences and leaves them eagerly anticipating the next thrilling battle. As for Chainsaw Man, one thing that really irks me was how they would spend too long fighting a particular villain. And most of the time I was like, come on, I don't have all day. I mean, the fight with the Eternity Devil, it almost took all of eternity.
It's gonna be a long wait.
They could have used shorter time and fewer episodes to fight a couple of villains.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the fight scenes tend to go rather fast and easy to exemplify how competent the sorcerers are. But you lose some of that weight of the difficulty of the fight. This is often made up for with characters dying, but it doesn't feel as difficult to fight the curses as it probably should. In Chainsaw Man, there are creatures called devils, or Kuma, which are born of fear and made more powerful the more people fear it. The main character, Denji, is basically possessed by the Chainsaw Devil. Humans fear chainsaws decently, and the other devils fear the Chainsaw Devil. So he's decently powerful, but also he isn't the most feared thing, as well as his heroism makes him feared even less. So his power balances out and keeps from too much power creep. Ideas that are more feared, such as guns or darkness, are much more powerful adversaries. You can also make deals with devils to work with you or give you simple abilities, but the more powerful the ability, the more pain it causes you. Aki, for example, has a deal with the future devil for the ability of precognition, but every time he uses it, his lifespan is shortened. This system does really well at balancing characters so they don't become too powerful, and there's a real struggle. The fight scenes are also incredibly fun because they're based on concepts people fear, so there's interesting gimmicks. The Eternity Devil, for example, traps the main characters in a PT-style infinite room that they must escape. Overall, Chainsaw Man's power systems make fun and engaging fights that feel like they have a struggle and weight to them. Jujutsu Kaisen's villains are good, don't get me wrong, but there's so many that they often blend into one another. Nanami, for example, wasn't particularly memorable. I had to look up her name. The only particularly notable thing about her is her gnarly appearance. Mahito is a stronger case, but even so, I feel as though his type has been done before. His powers are creepy, yes, but I feel we've seen this type of character before in characters such as Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. The villains of Chainsaw Man, meanwhile, are an interesting sort, because we have the devils that are born from human fears, but we also have humans to go up against. One such human is, of course, the main villain, Makima, who is actually on the same side as the main character at first. You think that the main villain will be the elusive gun devil, but it's actually the human right behind the main character, the strong leader and the love interest, who is actually a manipulative adult using a child, Denji, who I cannot stress enough is a minor. There's a subtle horror in someone who can lead so well that they guide the lamb happily to the slaughter.
Jujutsu Kaisen does not hold back when it comes to its villains. They are as complex, powerful, and intriguing as its heroes. From menacing curses to evil sorcerers, the series introduces a diverse array of antagonists that challenge the very essence of heroism. At the heart of the villainous roster is Sukuna, the legendary king of curses. With immense power and an enigmatic presence, Sukuna embodies pure evil. His chaotic nature and formidable abilities make him a force to be reckoned with, posing a constant threat to the protagonist. Mahito, a cursed spirit with the ability to manipulate souls, expand his domain, adds depth to the villain lineup. His cruel disposition makes him a formidable adversary. What sets Mahito apart is his views, blurring the lines between good and evil, adding complexity to his character. What sets Jujutsu Kaisen apart is its ability to craft villains with depth, emotional resonance, and thought-provoking ideologies. The series antagonist serves as integral parts in the story's progression, driving intense conflicts and adding layers of intrigue and complexity that surpass the adversary seen in Chainsaw Man. In comparison, Chainsaw Man has got the gun devil, who is like the main antagonist because everybody seems to want to catch him and kill him, of course. His legacy of death and destruction reverberates throughout the public safety saga, making him the undeniable nemesis of Aki, who is haunted by personal loss and fueled by righteous vengeance. It's a complex symbol and a catalyst for introspection and a chilling presence whenever he's mentioned. I think it's a bit too overhyped, and the fact that everyone seems to think that Denji, the 16-year-old, can beat him is not very encouraging. Makima. While it's not exactly clear what our play is, I think it's pretty obvious she is not a good person. And that's not just because she's using sex to entice a 16-year-old to do her bidding. From the beginning, she's been shady and manipulative, using her looks and power to bend all the rules. She is the enigmatic antagonist in Chainsaw Man, and she exudes an aura of manipulation and mystery. Itadori Yuji. So Itadori Yuji isn't like your brooding anti-heroes. He's here to throw some fists, crack jokes, and remind you that even in the face of absolute chaos, a smile can be your most powerful weapon. He's the sunshine boy of Jujutsu Kaisen, and diving into his story is like basking in a ray of warmth that happens to pack a mean right hook. Sure, Yuji might house the king of curses himself, but don't mistake him for a mere vessel. Yuji might not have Gojo's fancy techniques or Megumi Shikigami army, but what he lacks in training, it makes up for it in sheer ingenuity. As for Denji, he is driven by basic desires like food and shelter. His motivation remains stagnant for a significant part of the narrative.
使いされたし、初めて飯食わせてもらった。俺にとっちゃ夢みてえな生活だ。生活続けるためだったら、死んでもいいぜ。
While he experiences emotional pain and develops relationships, his internal conflicts revolves around fulfilling basic and sexual needs.
俺の胸、返せ!
His character is undeveloped and had me screaming "grow up" throughout most episodes. His character suits more of a sidekick than the main character, so we need someone level-headed with Denji as the best friend. His growth feels more external, shaped by circumstances rather than internal introspection. He's too gullible and can be made to do anything as long as he's promised bread, jam, and boobs to fondle.
Itadori as a main character falls a little flat. His motivation comes from his grandfather dying, but it came so suddenly and we're given no time to show why his motivation of not dying alone matters. He barely mourned his grandfather or interacted with him when he was alive. Then unsteady setup of a main motivation creates an unsteady feeling for the rest of Itadori's actions henceforth. There's not much of a reason for the audience to care, especially if Itadori is going to be executed in the end anyway.
その先に何を求める？
何っていうか、スクナの指回収するんすよ。ほっとくと危ないんで。
なぜ？
Denji's motivation is more expounded upon. We see the hell he's lived through. We see why his motivations are so simple. Because he's had so little. If we look at Maslow's pyramid of needs, he's focusing on the basic needs before he can move on. The basic needs on the pyramid being air, food, water, shelter, and reproduction. After only really having air for the longest time, he's obsessing on basic needs, such as reproduction, which is why he's a womanizer. And not only has he not had a parental figure to teach him that it's wrong, the women in his life encourage it to use him. Denji is growing as a person and slowly moving through his goals as he's able to. He may be a simple person, but that's because he's had to be. And now he has room to grow, which makes you intrigued on how his story will progress.
ああだのこうだのみんな偉い夢持ってていいな。じゃあ夢バトルしようぜ夢バトル。俺がてめえをぶっ殺したらよ。てめえの夢胸もむこといかな。
Thank you all so much for watching.
Hope you enjoyed our views on Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. Both shows are definitely worth the watch.
If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and let us know in the comments which is your preferred anime.
See you guys in our next video as we have more exciting content lined up for you.
Bye!
Bye.